Hello my friends, welcome back to my channel. Sweden will pay African and Caribbean immigrants 34,000 US dollars to return home. Immigrants who are African and Caribbean residents, Sweden will pay 34,000 US dollars to return home. They will pay all immigrants who are in the country who want to leave $34,000 to return home. Imagine that. Sweden is a country located in Europe. I was there about a month ago, 2 months ago. You could check that out on my other videos. But let's get back to the story. Sweden's Minister of Foreign and Trade and International Development and Cooperation, Johan Forsell, announced the policy, this new policy they announced the other day, that Sweden plans to boost payments up to 34,000 US dollars to immigrants who leave the nation, and that will start in 2026, my friends. Europe is changing. I released a story about Canada the other day and the visa changes they're making. Up and down Europe, they're making changes to get rid of all immigrants. They don't want immigrants in their countries anymore. And Sweden is making this big change because they have a new government in power, a new national government, what they call a right-wing government. This statement here is saying Migration Minister Johan Forsell made the announcement on Thursday, commenting. This is what he said, the foreign minister or the minister of migration. This is what he said. We are in the midst of a paradigm shift in our migration policy. This is what the minister of migration is saying. He said immigration has become increasingly controversial in Sweden in recent years. And what happened in Sweden in 2022, a coalition government was formed, an extreme radical right-wing nationalist party which promote nationals. They're very strong on European nationals power. They're trying to strengthen their own people, and they joined with a moderate national party to form a coalition. So this is why Sweden is now making radical changes to their migration policy in Sweden. Canada is doing the same thing. England released something the other day, said they will have ETA. Germany is doing the same thing. And you may not know this, but other European countries are paying immigrants to move back home to their country. In other words, they are paying immigrants to leave their country. They don't want you anymore. That is what they're saying. They don't want you anymore, and they're willing to pay anything for you to just leave their country. And according to another news source that I have here, a number of other European countries already have a scheme to pay migrants to return to their home countries with offers. In Germany, they're paying immigrants 2,000 US dollars to move back home. In France, they're paying immigrants 2,800 US dollars to move back home. And in Norway, which is another Scandinavian country, which is close to Sweden, is paying migrants 1,400 US dollars to move back home. And in Denmark, which is another Scandinavian country, is paying migrants 15,000 US dollars to move back home. Now, Scandinavia is Sweden, Norway, Denmark, Finland, and those are the Scandinavian countries, and Denmark is a part of Scandinavia. I was there as well. I went to the airport, and I went from there to Sweden. The distance is like a train stop away, and Denmark is paying migrants 15,000 US dollars to move back home, my friends. So Europe is changing because of the massive influx of Indians and Arabs to these European countries. They're now panicking, and they're now changing their migration policy because they are afraid. I was in Sweden the other day, and I spent a month in Sweden. I think I spent sometime from July to August in Sweden, and I can tell you the white European population in Sweden is dwindling. They are aging badly. It's an aging population, and you can see the massive amount of Arabs there and Indians are there, and they're having children. They're going to the schools, they're working, and they're having lots of children, and family is there. So now the nationalist party is panicking in Sweden because Sweden is a very feminist society. They're very strong, unlike women can do everything men can do. They're strong and empowering their women, and because of that, there are many single family homes in Sweden. The women don't want to have children. They're busy looking jobs, and they're trying to do everything men can do. And as a result, they're not having any children, and they're not building any families. So the white European population is falling dramatically, but the Arab Indian population is going through the roof. So Sweden recognized this because it's a modern European country. They know, they look into the future, and they see that if this continue, they will be in crisis. The Arabs and Indians will take over Sweden and Scandinavia, just like they're doing Canada. They will take over these countries, my friends, and I can guarantee you that they will in the future. Based on what I'm seeing, I was in England the other day, and I couldn't believe the amount of Asians that I'm seeing. Obviously, black immigrants are not going to Europe in large numbers. They're still discriminated against, but they're not going to Europe in large numbers anymore. But the Arabs and Indians are flooding Europe, and Eastern Europeans as well. They're moving around Europe. So Europe is cleansing their population. They don't want any Muslims in their country. They don't want any Africans in their country, any Caribbean people. They want back their pure European society. And as a result, that is why they're coming up with these schemes to get rid of immigrants in these European countries, my friends. And if you're watching up to this stage, my friends, please subscribe to my channel right now. Subscribe to the channel, like it, share it with all your friends and family. Guess what? We're over 9,000 subscribers. We just hit 9,000 subscribers about an hour ago. We're over 9,000 subscribers, so we're on the road to 10,000 subscribers because of your support and help. But back to the topic at hand. Sweden is a very reserved country. There, you could see they like their own culture, they like their own people. The government there do a lot to empower their own people. So they're panicking now with the influx of immigrants, and we are having a new government in Sweden. It was elected in 2022. So they're now responding to their people, and the people are calling for immigrants to be decreased in Sweden. So the government came up with this innovative policy. I never heard of a country paying anybody to go back home. I was in Sweden the other day, and let me tell you, if I knew that they would come out with this policy, maybe I should have stayed. Maybe I should have stayed in Sweden and collect that 34,000 US dollars and come back home to the Caribbean, go to Africa and invest that money. Because let me tell you something, my friends, if you're living in Africa and the Caribbean, this channel is about bridging the gap between Africa and the Caribbean. Anything that will strengthen us, that is what this channel is about. I will bring the news to you and bring the ideas of how we're going to bridge the gap between Africa and the Caribbean, because we are one people separated by slavery and colonialism. But it's time for us to bridge the gap, my friends. It's time for us to strengthen each other. Look at the European countries, what they're doing. They're strengthening each other, my friends. And if you're African or Caribbean immigrant living in Sweden, stay there. Stay there until they start to give out money. They're going to give out the 34,000 US dollars in 2026. This is 2024. So you just have just about less than 2 years. Just stay there, lie low, and wait until they give out that money and collect it and come back to the Caribbean. Go to Africa and invest that money. That is reparations to you. That is how we get reparations as well. Let them pay you the 34,000 US dollars that they're promising to pay migrants to leave the country. Let them pay you that. Come back to the Caribbean, come back to Africa. You can go into business with that money easily. In Africa, for example, land is cheap there. 34,000 US dollars. You can buy a lot of land and build a small, nice home on that land and do farming. Poultry farming, you plant bananas, yam, maize. The population in Africa is the opposite to the population in Europe. The population in Africa is the fastest growing population in the world, which means you're going to need food to eat. And agriculture would be a great investment. So my friends, take that money from Sweden that they're offering. Take that money from Germany. They're offering around 2,000 US dollars. You could buy land with that in Africa. Take that money that Denmark is offering. France is offering money to. Take that money and go to Africa or come to the Caribbean and invest in our own people, my friends. Stay in Sweden until they give out that money, collect it, and come back home and invest. That is the plan, my friends. And I am happy that Sweden is now doing this, because it shows us clearly how the Europeans think. You see how they think? They are different to many of our people. You know, many of our people in Africa and the Caribbean, we welcome everybody. We like to say we welcome everybody. We welcome everybody. Anybody could come here and do as they like. They can come here, get jobs. They can come from Europe. European Americans can come here and they get jobs, they build homes, they live a lavish lifestyle in the Caribbean and Africa. And we welcome them. But when our people go to Europe, they go to America, they go to Canada, we're treated very badly, my friends. We're not treated right. You consider discrimination. Many of you who live in the US right now, many of you who live in Canada, you live in the UK, you live in other parts of Europe, you know the discrimination that you would have faced over the years in these countries. And the weather is cold as well. You have to work hard. Some of you have to go in the snow and work at winter time. I know how that is. When I was living in England for 4 years, I got my bachelor's degree with honors in England in business and management. I spent 4 years getting that degree, and during that time I worked as a security at clubs and bars and so, like a bouncer. And I can tell you, At winter time, it's freezing cold. Sometimes I'm there standing at the door and I'm shivering. My toes are cold, my hands are cold. And I'm thinking about the Caribbean. I'm thinking that, man, I could be under a mango tree right now eating some mangoes, or I could be on the beach relaxing and the cold breeze hitting me and I'm shivering. I could hardly feel my fingers and toes. And I had to do that just to survive in these countries, my friends. So I know how it is for many of you who are there, who are working hard and trying to make ends meet, and you're still suffering discrimination at the same time. I say to you, keep the faith. Plan. Save your money. If you can save your money and you invest at home while you're living there and working, that is good. Get a trusted person. Don't give your money to any and anybody because it could disappear. Get a very trusted person, and you could open a business in the Caribbean or Africa, and while working there, so when you retire in paradise. In any African country, we got 54 African countries, and we have many Caribbean islands, over 20 Caribbean islands. So we have a large space, Africa and the Caribbean. We're paradise together. Many people want to come to the Caribbean and Africa to live. We have gold in Africa, diamond in Africa, silver, platinum, uranium, lumber, you name it. Any resource you could think of, oil. We have that in Africa. In the Caribbean, we could grow anything in the Caribbean. Sunshine all year round. We have the beautiful beaches, the mountain. You could see in the background right now, these are banana trees in the background. They bear now and again. Right, nice bananas. If you go past the banana tree, you will see a massive hillside called Nevis Peak. Big mountain, the largest mountain in the middle of the island. And if I look down this way, is the sea. I could see the sea where I'm at right now. I look down and I see the sea right now. So it's paradise. Paradise on earth. All we need to do is to earn some money and we could live happily ever after, uniting Africa and the Caribbean together in unity, build families together, build businesses together. Let me know what you think of this plan. Let me know what you think of it, because the mission of my channel is to bridge the gap between Africa and the Caribbean islands, because we are one people separated by slavery and colonialism. But we are getting serious now, my friends. We are waking now and we know what's happening. We are watching Europe, we are watching Canada, we are watching America. We see what they're doing, and we will do our own plan in building each other and getting to know each other, investing in each other. Let us come together as one. If you're watching from Nigeria, South Africa, Kenya, you're watching from Jamaica, you're watching from Barbados, Trinidad and Tobago, St. Kitts and Nevis, Antigua, St. Lucia, Dominica, Grenada, my friends. And I can go on and on. If you're Caribbean or an African living in New York, the US, you're living in Maryland, you're living in Florida, you're living all over the United States. If you're African and Caribbean living in the UK, you're living in Canada, Toronto, let us come together. Vancouver, Ontario, let us come together as one and bridge the gap between Africa and the Caribbean. And the first thing I want you to do in bridging the gap today is to click that subscribe button and subscribe to my channel right now. Like this video. Please comment your thoughts. Let us talk ideas. Let us talk how you think. Comment what you think about this topic today. And please share it with all your friends and family, because we're getting the message out, my friends, because we're bridging the gap between Africa and the Caribbean island. My name is Bjorn, and I would like to thank you for watching this video today. And please come back to my channel, because I'll be releasing another video very soon. It's gonna be interesting again. I release videos. I release up to 3-4 videos every week, my friends. So this channel is a very active channel. We are growing rapidly. We're over 9,000 subscribers right now. We're on the road to 10,000 subscribers, one step at a time. And it starts with you subscribing now to my channel. Let us bridge the gap between Africa and the Caribbean islands. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you again very soon in the next video. Much love. Bye-bye.